Good morning, Pioneers. My name is Connor Morrison.
And I'm Justice Sullivan. Welcome to The Grit.
Let's kick off our show by congratulating our boys basketball team on winning the D1 state championship. They defeated Reynoldsburg 56-41 to achieve the first state championship for boys basketball in school history. Senior Ellis Apia had a standout performance in his final high school game with 20 points.
No, I was there, and let me tell you, it was electric. Both sides, honestly. Like Reynoldsburg brought the heat in the beginning. I mean, it was a 14-17 game at the start. I was on the floor, got to be right next to the orange crowd. They were loud, rampant. It was crazy. It was a great experience. It was a great arena. I didn't think that they would fill up the stands like they did. I must say there were like 8,000 at the place. Almost a full stadium, like 10,000. So it was very close to full capacity, especially for a high school basketball game. It was an electric game, and Orange. It was close. They were winning. I felt like they were playing better. They just could not make their shots. Devin Brown was struggling a little bit from the field. He was making up and on the defensive side and rebounding and all that great stuff, but he wasn't being able to score. So the offense felt a little bit stagnant. And then you looked into the sunrise. And you know what stood there? Ellis Apia, standing there like it was beautiful. He came out and absolutely dominated the third quarter. And then you know who else came to his aid? Trayton Schrader on a shining horse came hitting 4 3-pointers. Game was over at that point. They took a massive lead. And after that, it was Reynoldsburg couldn't do anything. It was a really fun game, great experience. And, let's try to go back-to-back. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we knew that from the very beginning of the season, Coach Kalo had his eyes set on this. He was very laser-focused in, talked a lot about getting back to the championship, getting back to being a good team, playing together well. Obviously, they just dominated whoever they played. Their only 2 losses came from, private schools, out-of-state private schools. They can go and get, some superstar players. Some of the best teams in the country are the teams that Orange lost to, and that really helped them face some adversity, and then it also got a lot of, this is what some of the competition can look like later on in the season. Again, want to just shine some light on Ellis. He had the first 8 points of the game, I think it was.
He had the first 6, actually.
6.
And then he had basically 14 straight in the third quarter. He was dunking it, shooting it well. Trayton also came in and helped. Devin Brown had 5 assists. So everyone really had a key piece. But Ellis he was my pick for the MVP of the game after it.
Yeah, he was definitely the consensus.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think anybody is arguing that.
Yeah, absolutely. And one last time, congratulations to our boys basketball team.
Yeah, for sure. Now here's Ayana with the recap of the state championship with Ellis. Ayana?
Hey Pioneers, let's take a look at how boys basketball postseason went.
Favorite moment during the game, a lot of really good moments, but just I would say as the kids came off the floor, the joy on their faces, hugging each one of them individually, and just watching the post-game interviews, watching how happy the kids are, them hugging each other. Running around the floor like they're children and just 4-year-olds and the joy that they were experiencing. That was my favorite moment. Just knowing that the hard work paid off and seeing the sheer excitement all over their faces. It was really fun. Goals, just to be our goal every single season is to be the best basketball team we can be by the end of the season. And what that means to me is growth for individual players and growth for our team. So we want to get better throughout the year. We want to be a very connected team, a team that enjoys playing with each other. So our goal is to be our best every single season, and that looks different for every team. But there's something to be said for winning a state title and that giving the next group of players confidence. So I think we'll be a confident team, but we got to be connected and we got to get better throughout the year like we want to every year.
During the final game, it was a lot of emotions because the game got close, but then once we started pulling away, I was all happiness from there. My personal goal was to just help the team win a state championship, and I think I fulfilled that.
That's all for today, Pioneers. Now back to the desk.
Thanks, Ayana. Pioneer sports were dominant over break. Baseball traveled to Arkansas over break to kick off their season. The boys went 2-0, beating Benton 4-2 and Dixon County with a whopping score of 16-2. The boys also had some training and team bonding sessions on their trip. Softball also went out of state over the break, traveling to Florida and winning 6 out of 6 games. The girls had 76 total hits and 4 run rules. They beat Lane Tech 13-3, Clintonville 16-6, Bigfoot 17-2, Aurora 11-9, De La Salle Institute 13-3, and Grays Lake North 6-3. Now it's over to Alex, who's standing by with softball star Jordan Pellis.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Jordan Pellis. Now, Jordan, you guys are a great 7-1, and what's really been the keys to your team's success so far this season?
I think being able to string hits together, being able to make big plays in the field, and just having each other's backs at all times has really helped us as a team.
And obviously, you guys have had a great start this season. What do you feel the rest of the season is going to be the hardest challenge for the team?
I think the hardest challenge will probably be to win conference. Bradley is always a big opponent for us, so being able to push through and beat some competitive teams and being able to take the conference is our main goal this season.
And how does the team kind of fit together? How does the chemistry feel while you guys are out there?
Our chemistry is really, really good this year. We have 8 seniors who have played together since middle school, and there's been no issues. We all like each other, and I think the Florida trip really helped with that. Us being away with only each other for a week, I think really helped with the chemistry.
And then throughout this short start of the season, what has been your favorite part throughout this first part of the season?
I think probably all the run rules, all the quick games, like being able to just score and not stop scoring has been really, really fun.
And what are you most proud of contributing to this team throughout your years?
I think I'm most proud of contributing leadership, especially this year, because a lot of these girls, there's some younger girls, and I've been in their position before. I know what it's like, so being able to contribute what I know about varsity softball is, I think, my most valuable trait.
Okay, thank you so much, Jordan, and good luck on the rest of your season. That's
you.
all from me. Now, back to the desk.
Thanks, Alex. As we just said, girls softball is off to a running start with a current record of 7-1. The girls held Dublin Kaufman to 0 runs, scoring 9 of their own. Senior pitcher Gory Nike pitched a no-hitter, with sophomore Sally Peters went 4 for 4 on the plate. So obviously, this softball team off to an excellent start.
I believe it's if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's one of the best starts in the history of OOHS Orange softball. So
Probably 7-1. That's a very good
pretty
record.
dang good,
and especially how dominant they've been against.
Yeah.
teams.
And you know what they say about the Yankees? They call them the Bronxville Bombers, right? Because they hit home runs and all that. I'm gonna petition to change that to the Lewis Center Luggers, because they are slugging that ball all over the place. They're hitting some absolute dingers, swamp donkeys. All right, that's my favorite way to say a home run is a swamp donkey. I cannot wait to get myself out and watch these games. Gory Nike, senior, great pitcher. I mean, a no-hitter is insane and very impressive. You know, that's like one of the hardest things to do in all sports. So very impressive. You know, and it's just like Orange after the girls wrestling winning state championships, now in basketball winning a state championship, and now we're looking at a great softball team and a great baseball team. It's going to be electric. I cannot wait for the spring. And let's not forget the track and field, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a minute. So we got some great sports lining up, and Olentangy Orange is going to be the greatest high school in sports history this year. That's
a bold statement, but I like it. Obviously, we do have to talk about they were 7-1 or 7-0 until last night. They had their first loss to Watkins Memorial, 0-5. Not a huge deal. There's a lot of games in the season. You're expected. If you go undefeated in a softball season, that's a pretty major feat. So, no big deal.
Let's talk about the fact that like you're coming off of a whole week of 7 straight games, and or like spring break they played like 7 games. It's pretty hard to do, and they come right back and from Florida. Obviously, you're probably a little bit tired still from the trip. I mean, this is their first week back from spring break. Watkins Memorial, you got lucky. That's all there is to it. You got them on a little bit of a down. Hey, it's like everything's like a roller coaster, right? You caught them at the trough. If they're at the peak,
Mr. Heyer would like that term.
He would like that term. Shout out Mr. Heyer, great teacher. And so I'm excited to see the spring, the dominant sports continue, and rolling ears. That's all I gotta say about that.
Absolutely, me as well.
Girls lacrosse destroyed Westerville Central 20-0. My lord. The girls also have beat his district rival Olentangy Berlin 10-6. The Juice's very own Liv Roop led the team in points with 4 goals in each game, followed by Ellie Brombacher with 3 points against Central.
Boys lacrosse beat both Westerville North and South with scores of 17-4 and 15-7. Colin Dustin, Carver Gibson, Cohen Sayer, and Connor Barnes all recorded hat tricks in those games.
Tuesday was a packed day for the Pioneer sports. Girls lacrosse continued their great start to the season, moving to 3-0 with the win at home against Darby in OT, 7-6. Two seniors teamed up for the game-sealing goal. Bella Betcher finding the back of the net of an assist from Ava Dietz. Wow, they gave them a slacking against that Central. My goodness.
Another just dominant start to a season for Orange Spring Sports.
I've lost bad matches in fencing, before. 20-0? I mean, I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but my goodness, I want to check the record book if that's the most goals ever scored in an Olentangy Orange girls lacrosse team, because that's just embarrassing at that point. I mean, they're probably putting the JVB girls in there, and they probably still win. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I agree. Again, just another dominant start for a team. Girls have been very dominant in their spring sports. Softball, very dominant, 7-1. I don't know girls lacrosse's record off the top.
Right now.
3-0. So three games, they've destroyed their competition so far. Liv Roop, Juice's very own, has done excellent. Been the leading scorer of the team so far. She's got a lot of help around her. The coaching staff for girls lacrosse is great. I know they were super excited to get this season started. So it'll be a good one. Obviously, not to really harp on them last year, but definitely wasn't their best season last year. So to see this wild improvement at the beginning of the season so far, it's a great look to see.
Yeah, it's the 360s you like to see.
Absolutely. Boys volleyball had an OCC matchup against the Kaufman Shamrocks. The game was away, with the Pioneers staying in the game until the very end, losing in the 5th set. They also unfortunately dropped their game against Upper Arlington last night.
On Wednesday, boys baseball defeated Pick North 5-3 and pushed their early season win streak to 3-0. Both boys in track held their first tri-meet last night against Central and Bishop Watterson. Both teams won, with the team scored 98 for the girls and 103 for the boys.
As many of you know, girls wrestling won their 2nd straight tournament recently. Congratulations, girls. Let's take a further look into what it took to win back-to-back state titles. When we're back, Justice and I will talk a bit about this current March Madness tournament. Now, here's Malin.
Hey Pioneers, let's take a look into girls wrestling postseason.
I think our overall season was pretty good. We met a lot of the goals we had set for our team. We won state duels this year, and we were state champions again for the 2nd year in a row. So I think we did pretty well altogether. Something special about our team is definitely our work ethic. I feel like every single person on this team just wants to get better every day. They're in there to be better, and I think it really shows with our accomplishments. I think it's just evidence of our work ethic.
I mean, winning a state title is pretty sweet, so that was probably my favorite part. But honestly, just watching them work together, not having to run the district was nice this year, because that let us just kind of prepare for stuff, and just getting the girls excited about the sport and getting them, competing at their highest levels, and that was a pretty fun year. This team's I know everybody always says that about programs, but this team's really, really tight. And so watching how they interact with each other, varsity, JV, varsity B, whatever, we really didn't have any drama. And if there was anything little, it was quick and handled by upperclassmen or leaders. And so just working with a group that's really cohesive and is good at the sport, but also really tight with each other makes it a fun group to coach.
With freestyle season coming up, I'm just looking forward to getting back in the wrestling room. I just love being with the team, and it's just a way to continue getting better in the off season.
That's all for today, Pioneers. Now back to the desk.
Thanks, Malin. So let's talk about March Madness. This tournament. Not a whole lot of madness so far.
It's just been March, and it's a little disappointing. But it's more like March mid, that's what I call it right now. Just not a lot of upsets. My bracket's doing pretty well, so I guess there's always that. And I wanted Florida to do well, and they didn't look like they're going to be Texas Tech in the Elite Eight. That was a
big comeback.
That was a huge game. Walter Clayton, thank you so much, because if I make any amount of money off my bracket, you will be getting 50%.
We both have Florida winning it all, don't we?
I do.
Right.
And you do too. Yeah, so that's very...
Yeah, so I mean, talking about kind of this Final Four, all 1 seeds. It's only the 2nd time ever in March Madness tournament that has happened. I think the other time was like
2008, Derrick Rose
2008.
on Memphis, Russell Westbrook on UCLA. I mean, those are guys who are like in their late 30s now. I mean, Derrick Rose retired, so he's not even in the NBA anymore. So you got those were some pretty good. I believe Kansas ended up winning it all. They beat North Carolina and then they beat Memphis in the final in overtime. So I'm really excited to see it. I know people are a little disappointed that there's no like 13,
Rightfully
15.
so. Rightfully
And yes,
so.
of course, that's what we all watch March Madness for. But I will say, if you're actually watching the game for good basketball, you're not going to get any better than this. You're going to be getting some elite basketball. You got Coach Kelvin over at Houston. I forget what the Duke's guy name is. You got Cooper Flagg and Jaden Proctor over there. And then you got on the other side of the bracket, you got Florida with Walter Clayton, and he's like the best player in the tournament, and no one can stop him when he's shooting the three ball. And then Auburn with John A. Broome, he's looking elite. He had a
Auburn has a lot of older seniors. They have a lot of basketball
Yeah.
experience, which has definitely helped them out in this tournament.
I want to start with you. What's going to be your Final Four picks, and then just go to the championship on
So
Monday?
my original Final Four picks, I had Florida and Michigan State, and then I had Duke, and then a bit of a sleeper, I had Gonzaga in the Final Four. Obviously, it didn't work out
I didn't
well,
mind that
but
pick because they almost beat Houston.
Yeah, so 2 out of 4, I'll take it. I think that Florida takes it from Auburn. Auburn's like a really raw team. It feels like they have a lot of experience, but they just play back. They go out there and they just play their game. And I think Florida could really overwhelm them. Walter Clayton, like you said, if he just sinks a couple of threes in a row, the game can get away from Auburn. So I'll take Florida on that side. And then on the other side, Houston, I've never been a huge fan of. Obviously, they've proved me wrong this year, making it to the Final Four. I had them getting bounced in the second round. But I'll take Duke here. Cooper Flagg has just looked amazing this whole tournament. There was some questions about his ankle injury before the tournament started. Obviously, he's been fine, played very well. Duke's just looked really dominant against almost every team they've played. Florida, obviously they had that, a little bit of a stretch where it looked like they might be out of the tournament against Texas Tech. They had a huge comeback, which I think speaks a lot to their ability. So I'll take Florida and Duke in the final.
I'm going to probably take the same. And now Houston had a great defense. We saw they absolutely dismantled Tennessee. But the issue is they're a lot smaller than Duke. Duke's got a 7'2", guy at center, and Cooper Flagg's 6'9" at power forward. There's not many people in basketball that can guard him, if any. He's just too big. He's too big. And there's only one other team I think that matches him in size, or I think the other two teams that match them in size are on the other side of the bracket. So I do think Duke has their matches coming where they're going to be defeated. But right now they're just bully balling everybody. I mean, they get in the paint, then they pass it out for quick threes, and it's just really hard for these smaller teams to do anything. Houston, they might put up a fight. They're probably going to hold Duke to under 80 points, as Duke has just been going off on offense. I think it'll be decently close, but I do think Duke probably wins. And on the other side, Florida's three-point shooting is just too good. I mean, they hit streaks, and there's just nobody that can beat them. In my opinion, they've been the best team at the end of the season. They're on like a 20-game win streak. I don't know if there's anyone that can beat them around the perimeter. And Walter Clayton, there's no one on Duke that can guard him. On Auburn. They got Tahad Pettiford. He's great, but I don't think that Auburn is gonna have enough. I think it's gonna be a close game, but I'm gonna pick Florida. And then the championship, I gotta go with Florida just for my bracket.
Yeah, I mean, we both got Florida, so we'll both take that for sure.
Yeah,
and it's definitely probably the most likely outcome. I think Duke and Florida definitely have the best chance out of the Final Four.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm glad we agree on that.
Yeah,
Let's see what happens.
We'll see how it shakes out. Boys tennis hosted district rival Olentangy. Boys tennis hosted district rival Olentangy yesterday at 4 p.m. The boys started their game, but the rain had other plans. They're back on tonight at Beaver Creek at 5 p.m. Good luck, guys.
Boys lacrosse traveled to Pick Central last night, where they came home with a score of 17-4. The boys jumped ahead quickly with senior Carver Gibson scoring the first point for the Nears. They're back at home tomorrow against crosstown rival Berlin at 12:30.
That's all for our show this week. Thanks for tuning into The Grit. Make sure to support your Nears in action this week. I'm Connor Morrison.
And I'm Justice Cullivan. We'll see you next Friday right here on The Grit. And as always, roll Nears.